y'all, it's Betsy from Cuttin Corners Vinyl, and today is Craftmas Season 4, Episode 3. And I'm going to show you how to do the DTF Sublimation hack. Now, if you're not familiar with what the hack is, it is where you take and sublimate on to DTF transfers. Now, I want to say a big thank you to Yamation. They sent over their DTF adhesive powder and transfers. Now, I will have everything linked in my Amazon store down below in the description box, as well as the artwork that I used today is available on my Patreon page. Now, this will be available in SVG form, so if you want to change the colors on my floral pumpkin, you can, as well as in PNG form, so if you just want to take and print this as is. So as you can see, this is what the shirt looks like done. Isn't that absolutely beautiful? Now, I have done a wash test and I have tested this out quite a few times. It does absolutely beautiful, but as you can see, look how good that looks. Now, I will give you some helpful pointers throughout the video. But if you want to see how this is done, let's go ahead and jump in. So, working with the direct-to-fabric sublimation hack, you do need your paper of some sort to tape the direct to fabric transfer to. I'm just using regular sublimation paper because ordering copy paper that is large enough to tape the bigger direct fabric transfers to, it is pretty hard to find bigger copy paper in that size, as well as regular tape. Now, for the Yamation direct to transfer film, it does say on the outside of the package which side is the print side. So I am just moving it directly over to the sublimation paper. Now, my print settings on my Sawgrass sublimation printer. Now, you do need a sublimation printer or a printer that is converted to sublimation and sublimation ink, so just to be aware. And again, I am taping this on to the paper. Now, it does need that because if you don't, it won't print correctly. Now, I found that it is best to run it through my bypass tray. I couldn't get it to run through just the regular paper tray. You might have better luck, but I ran it through my bypass tray. Without it, it just wanted to catch and smear. So again, you're going to want to run it through your bypass tray. Now, I using the Sawgrass Print Manager, the HTV settings, and you do want to mirror your print settings. Now, once this printed, that's what it looks like, and it does have where it has some excess ink, so you do want to be careful because if you touch it, it will smear. But that's what the DTF powder sticks to. Now, I put mine in a salt shaker. Now, this one was in, my salt shaker was empty whenever I went to do this. That's why I had to refill it. Now, you put a lot of powder down. I put a lot of excess powder down. If it doesn't have enough powder, it will wash off whenever you go to wash it. The more powder, the better it adheres. That is another trick that I found. You want it to have a nice, good coating, and that's part of the reason why you want to have enough ink down. You want it to have where you can see the ink to be a little bit liquidy, but not too much because you don't want the ink to pour off the page. But you want it to have something where the powder will stick to it. I also let it sit for about 20-30 minutes so it kind of has a chance to bond. Once it sits for a while, I will pour the excess powder back into the container and just let it sit there. And then I will remove the direct to fabric transfer off of the paper, off of the sublimation sheet. And then I'll just reuse that sublimation sheet for either excess powder, all of that, but I won't run that back through my printer, because if you run that sheet through your printer with that powder on there, you're likely to mess up your printer. Now, I do take and use the powder or the excess sheets also inside my shirt, just to be on the safe side in case I miss anything. Now, if you didn't see how that kind of caught at the beginning of that, I ran my shirt sleeve over that powder. And at the end of this, when you see the done shirt, there's a little spot where it has some missing ink. Well, that's what happens. If there's missing powder, the ink doesn't stick to the shirt. And it does take some practice with this. Now, this is my Heat Press Nation 16 by 20 Signature Pro Heat Press. I have an affiliate link. The printer, my Sawgrass SG1000, is available at Heat Press Nation and at Condi. They're both linked down in the description. That's an affiliate link for both. All of the supplies I am using are available at either Condi, Heat Press Nation, or at Amazon. Everything is listed. All of the supplies that are available at Amazon are listed in my Craftmas list, so it is very easy to find it, even all the Yamation stuff that was sent to me. So it makes it very, very easy to find. Now, the heat press is preheated to 385 degrees for 40 seconds. Now, I preheated the shirt to get the moisture out, and I did go ahead and lint roll the shirt, so that way I can take and get rid of all the lint, so that way there is nothing in between the powder and the shirt, to make sure everything adheres good. And again, I've washed the shirts and have had no issues with it. But in the beginning, I did, because I didn't powder it long enough. Those types of things. And it will take practice. Because if you don't get enough powder, if you don't lay enough ink down, if you don't get enough powder, you see, and I'm not sure if you can tell from how there's a lot of powder on that shirt. There's a lot, and that's part of the reason why. It's got to have enough powder to be able to bond with that ink, or it's not going to stay permanent. But it really does do a beautiful job, and it has a nice soft hand on it. Now, the shirts that I have done, I have washed about 7 times. And now, do I know anything longer than that what the washability is? I do not. But so far, so good. So hopefully it will last a long time after that. But so far, I mean, that's not a bad amount of washability. Now, again, I put extra paper on top and bottom. Now, I will say this about it though, is if you do have the powder, whether there's ink or not, the powder will leave residue where there's not ink. So you do want to be careful about having excess powder, whether there's ink as well, because it will make you have stiff spots on your shirt. But you do get nice, vibrant, bright colors. So that is something to be noted. I like the process. There is quite a bit of a learning curve behind it. You do want to make sure that everything is completely cool before you take and remove the transfer layer off of it. So whenever you go to remove that clear layer, the transfer paper, the DTF layer, you need to make sure that's completely cool. So don't touch it till it's completely cool. Again, you're going to want to play around with settings for time and temperature. For me on my press, 385 for 40 seconds was the magic number. But again, I think it will also depend on the fabric, and it might also depend on how thick everything is as well. But isn't that beautiful? I really, really love how it came out. And I think that I can even get better results the more I mess with it. But you see what I'm saying about that top corner? You can see what I mean, that it's not perfect, but I think I can get it even better. And considering that this is a hack and it was not, $5,000 investment, I think I did a pretty good job. And are you interested in trying this out? Let me know in the comments down below. I'm interested to find out what you think. But I was super excited to try this. As I said, this video was going to originally have 3 different materials tested against each other, but they're going to all be in their own videos, so watch for the next one tomorrow. And I will see y'all then. Bye.